Alright, so never thought I'd do this, but I find this topic so interesting that I couldn't help but at least attempt to tackle it. What I am talking about is unused content in games. I adore this topic and love watching people talk about it. Hence why I am subscribed to a ton of people on YouTube who do this already. The reason I am trying it for myself today is that there are a handful of games that have yet to be covered by anybody that I've seen that I would love to see talked about. So you know what they say, you want something done, you do it yourself. The games I am tackling today are the Nicktoons Unite games. Now if you had a childhood whatsoever, you know who the Nicktoons are. Pretty much every cartoon Nickelodeon made. But these games basically fulfilled my childhood dream of having a group of the Nicktoons team up to take on a threat. And that's pretty much what they are. Each game kinda does something different, but each are essentially the same game. But I'm not here to review them. Each game has a decent amount of unused content in them, but because there isn't enough to fill a whole video unless I wanted to make this thing 5 minutes long, and I personally hate short content videos, I decided to do them all in one. Now I know there are party and sports games with the same crossover type idea, but in this video I'm only covering the core Unite games and their ports. These are Nicktoons Unite, Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island, and Nicktoons Attack of the Toybots. Globs of Doom seems to have no unused content, so sadly that will be left out. So let's start with the original Nicktoons Unite. This game came out on the PS2, GameCube, and Game Boy Advance and was released on October 26, 2005 in the US. Starting with the PS2 and GameCube, as the cutting room floor has it as one article, there is a file labeled bkg_NTU_startscreen_ntsc.ttl, and it is an early version of the game's title screen. As you can see, it depicts the Nicktoons in their 3D form rather than their own respective animation styles, which personally I think looks better. That's just my opinion, but to me this title screen just looks better than the one we actually got. This also could have been the cover of the game too, and it would have looked just as good. There's also one unused area in the game, and it's a test room. Labeled as a folder called Test World, which is accessible by modifying the game's folders. Credit to POK-GOT4N for this footage of their exploration of the room, as I was unable to access it myself. Now, looking over it, I can already see quite a few interesting details. First off is the utter lack of any textures or detail aside from a few things, like the boxes or the pickups. It actually kinda creeps me out a little. I also can't really tell if this is based on any of the game's worlds or not, but considering it's called Test World, I think it's safe to assume that it isn't. Another thing is that there's no music assigned to this map. The only thing you get in terms of sound are the sound effects and voiceovers for doing really anything in the game, such as attacking, getting hit, and jumping. All the game's pickups are also right next to where you spawn in, which doesn't really surprise me. Seems like an obvious thing that would be on a test map. The first really weird thing that caught my attention though when I first saw this was Sandy's health bar on the top right. Normally you would only see this in the Bikini Bottom stage while she escorts you to the Krusty Krab. So what's it doing here? I originally thought that maybe POK hacked this map to appear when they would normally go to Bikini Bottom instead, but no, earlier in the video you see a loading screen for Jimmy's lab, so the level that would have been loaded was Jimmy's lab, so eh? My guess as to why it's here is that it's simply another thing this map was used to test, like Sandy's AI and how her health bar works. You do find her at some point in the maps, so that's just my guess. Anyway, if you continue down the hallway, you'll come across some enemies and a lever that does nothing when activated. You end up at a dead end, so if you turn around and go back to the spawn point, you can go down another hallway, which is where Sandy is. She'll start following you after you enter this room, but she doesn't seem to attack the enemies. But there's also other things that actually have textures. You'll find 2 gold pillars from the Dimsdale level. Yay. Another dead end, so you gotta turn around and go back again. Going to the other end of the room reveals 2 gates from the Ghost Zone level, a row of levers, and some Bikini Bottom inhabitants. Activating these levers also does nothing. Going into the final room with actual stuff in it, as the room below it is just empty, you'll see a bunch of boxes that you can pick up and some enemies. That's pretty much it. On an unrelated note, when the boxes are destroyed, they make the same sound effect as the pots. Not sure if that's supposed to happen, but it does. It actually startled me when I first saw the video. Next up are unused characters. In the common/actors.ini file, there is a list of all of the characters that appear in the game, including some that don't appear anywhere at all. As of the making of this video, it's not known if they have in-game models associated with them, so all we have are their names. Note that Gary, Cindy, and the generic fish do appear in the FMV cutscenes, but they're never actually seen in-game. These unused characters are Gary, Carl, Cindy, Sheen, Fish Generic A, Fish Generic B, Fish Generic C, Jazz, Mr. Lancer, and Vicky. Some of these would make appearances in later games, but most of these are never really implemented, which interests me. Maybe Vicky was originally supposed to be part of the Syndicate too, maybe she was the one who was supposed to represent Timmy's world instead of Mr. Crocker, or maybe Jazz and Mr. Lancer would have been NPCs in Amity Park? I don't know, but seeing this list made me wonder what the purpose of these characters could have been. The last unused thing in this version of the game is an unused text file that simply says, "Please leave empty." Next up is the GBA port. There's a surprising bit of stuff here. I'll kinda speed through it, as all of it's just text related. First off is text referring to a certain build of the game. No clue what any of it means, aside from the fact that this refers to a build that was made about 2 months before the game's release. The next thing is a bit more interesting. There's unused text referring to a save function. The reason this is so interesting is that in the final release the game uses a password system, not a save function. So based on this, it's obvious that they didn't originally want to use that system, but I assume they went with it because it was either easier to develop or they couldn't get the saving mechanic to work properly. Another glimpse of an intended mechanic is that there is some unused text referring to a cheat menu. There is no cheat menu in the data, and you can't unlock anything in this version other than the game's levels, so I think this might have been scrapped early on, for the same reason or reasons as the save mechanic. Last two things worth noting is an unused text string referring to someone's magic string, and a super long-ass list of variable names for pretty much everything in the game, which includes some unused enemies and even characters referring to games like Lilo and Stitch 2 and which is due to the game using the same engine as the two, even down to the menus. I'll leave a link to the cutting room floor page in the description if you want to read the whole list, cause I'm not. But getting back to the unused enemies, we have Vicky again, can't catch a break, can she? An enemy labeled El Matador, which is weird because that's the only Spanish name in the game to my knowledge, and two more in Antibodies and Leaping Flames. Okay, now moving on to the game's sequel, Battle for Volcano Island. The one game in this whole list I haven't played / don't own. Strangely enough though, despite the game coming out on the PS2, GameCube, DS, and GBA, there only seems to be unused content in the GameCube version. I could be wrong, and if I am, please comment and let me know if you find anything, but I couldn't. Plus, the GameCube version only has a handful of unseen things. Cinematics. Yes, this game has unused cutscenes. Well, sort of. There are several .bak files, but most of them are just Windows Movie Maker text over concept art. They are what you see on screen right now. There's supposed to be storyboards for cutscenes that don't exist, but one of them actually is a storyboard with voices and everything. Although these are obviously placeholder voices. Here's a little snippet.
This place is weird.
Yeah, and that volcano is creepy. It was not always so, young stranger. Ah! Not so long ago, it was our beautiful fountain of life. When the storms began, something happened to the fountain. Instead of bringing order and peace to our island, now it rains a terrible ooze that brings chaos and destruction.
The only other thing is that there's a video labeled test.bik, which is just the old THQ logo, as the game uses a different one in the final version. Alright, moving on to the last game in the series with content, as Globs of Doom seems to have none, as I said. This is the grand finale though, as this game hands down has the most unseen stuff of the three. Holy crap, is there a ton of stuff! Starting this off are more unused and test levels. Unfortunately, all we have to clue us in on their existence are folders, as there is currently no way to actually access them if they're there at all. But the folders are named A0 Test Drew, A0 Test H, A0 Test Rob, Bonus 1 Sponge, Bonus 2 Danny, and Bonus 3 Timmy. Now, basically my assumption here is that the first three refer to test rooms that were assigned to specific people, hence the names used, and that the last 3 refer to unused bonus rooms for SpongeBob, Danny, and Timmy. I hope someone finds a way to access these at some point, if it's possible, as test rooms are my favorite unused content to see, and I would love to see what these levels could possibly look like. Moving along are some unused graphics. I don't have visuals for some of these, so bear with me, but present in the GUI folder are .trb files containing the .tga files for unused master models of characters from Kablam and Action League Now. The files in question refer to the characters Flesh, Fondue, Henry, June, Meltman, a character simply referred to as None, so I don't know, Prometheus, Snap, Sniz, Stinky Driver, and Thunder Girl. I apologize if some of these aren't actual characters, I don't know every Nick cartoon. The only other unused graphic is the back of the Mr. Huggles box that appears in some levels. The devs totally knew this would be unseen too, as there is a pretty creepy message on the back. Next up is some unused music. All 3 of them seem to be what would have played in the 3 unused bonus stages that I previously mentioned. Here's a listen. Alright, now for the main reason I wanted to make this video. There is a metric, pardon my French, but there is a metric shit ton of unused dialogue. This game has so much of it, it shocked me the first time I read this. Each freaking playable character has 4 to 5 unused lines in this first set alone. So I figured I would just shut up and let them all play, and let you listen for yourself.
Anybody else notice that we're underwater? You know, I always wanted to visit a toy factory. Now, I'm not so sure. I wonder how many safety regulations this factory breaks. Not that a villain cares, I guess. This place is like some supervillain death trap. Not surprising, I guess. Well, looks like it's up to us, huh?
What? This is cozy. I like this place! But bad toys annoy me. This is normal place here? I'm normal too! I'll take this place! Eek! Clouds are fluffy! Robots wreak havoc!
The humidity here is amazing! Fascinating factory! You have to admire its over-engineered excesses. I'd love to spend some time with this equipment, if only evil toys weren't trying to destroy us! I'm truly impressed by the professor's work. Who am I kidding? Calamitous could never have built this. This is an incredible holographic projection of a virtual space, but it's so pink.
Home is where the giant evil processing plant is. Wow, there's lots of moving things. I'm so distracted. I cannot believe that Krabby Patties would be put to such evil use. I am appalled. We have to be quiet. Really quiet! Oh! It's pink! So pink!
Wow, it almost feels like I'm under the sea. But that's impossible. Oh dear, it's all quite large and dangerous, isn't it? This isn't very safe, is it? Lots of machines with things that hurt. Can't be good. What now? Evil toys and robots and traps? Well, I suppose it's easier than getting to work. Well, this is quite nice. Except for those evil robots, of course, and the huge menacing machine.
If a single Krabby Patty can be saved, then we must be the savers! Anybody who would treat Krabby Patties like that deserves some sponge justice! We've got stuff to save and people to collect. Or is it the other way around? So many tubes, so many machinery things. So cool. It's like a beautiful fairground. What could possibly hurt us here?
I'm not even going to ask how this is possible. This factory is a disaster. There aren't even any safety rails. Okay, this isn't funny. People could get hurt working here. It's so pretty. Oh no. Cuteness getting through goth cynicism. This machine is an environmental abomination. We have to shut it down.
Oh, joy! The seaside, my favorite litter box. Well, this is quite the factory. I don't like it. No, sir, I don't. Time to get serious and talk about safety. Conveyor belts are not toys. I think it's time to show these villains that we're serious about justice. Oh boy, butterflies! With huge heads and robots that look like SpongeBob. Joy!
Breathing underwater. Who's the shaman? I'm the shaman. Confronting a vast array of completely incomprehensible devices. It's just another day in Tack World. It was so much simpler when toys were made of clay and wood and feathers and magic. Wow, it's so pretty here. Except for all the metal stuff and the things trying to destroy us. Okay, now this, I understand. We're in the spirit plane, right?
Breathing underwater? Now this is more like it. What a cool place! I mean, what a factory of badness. Wow, look at all this stuff. It's like a huge toy factory. Oh yeah, it is a huge toy factory. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. Why do fairies have to be so greedy? If I end up with a bad case of rust, somebody's gonna pay. Now this is pretty familiar. Conveyor belts, presses, energy beams, just like home. Give me 30 minutes and a screwdriver, and I could get a lot of spares out of this place. Let's just find the crummy guy who's behind all this, and I'll give him something to think about. We've only been here 8.732 seconds, and my optics have already overloaded on pink.
These were probably meant to be played when entering a new area of the game, with a few characters' last sound file in the archive explicitly referring to the first half of Factory Zone 3. Some of them were also probably meant to be played when replaying the Bikini Bottom stage with different characters, as most refer to breathing underwater. These next unused lines are voice tutorials, as in the final game all hints are given via on-screen text. This also insinuates that Cosmo and Wanda were originally supposed to be the tutorial-giving characters.
Jump and slam control pads to activate.
Use the catapult! The catapult! That'll stop 'em! Duck down and hold on! Flying saucers! Run for it! Ooh, that pad! Jump and slam it! Control panels are so breakable! Hint, hint!
Use that catapult. I bet that'll surprise 'em. Duck down and hold on! Flying saucers! Run for it! See that pad? Jump and slam it! That control panel looks pretty fragile. Try hitting it!
I think I would have preferred if Cosmo and Wanda were my tutorials in the game, to be honest, because I like their lines a lot. They're pretty funny. Anyway, the next list contains lines that would have played when each respective character entered a master model chamber. In the final game, they don't say anything when in these rooms.
Look, it's one of the master models the Chadbot wants. There's a master model. Let's get it. Hey, there's a master model. Master model up ahead. Gotta get 'em all. Ha! Another master model. Good.
Model! Objective identified. Whee! Master model, get. Look, pretty, take! Collectibles are good. Collect them. All of them. I must have them or I'll explode. That happens to me sometimes.
Look! It's one of those master models the Chadbot wants! There's a master model! Let's get it for the Chadbot! Hey, there's one of the things we're looking for! Master model up ahead! Let's get collecting! Another master model! Good!
Look, it's one of those master models the Chadbot wants! There's a master model. Let's get it for the Chadbot. Hey, there's one of the things we're looking for. Master Model. When he grows up, he'll be Mr. Model. It's a Master Model, all ready for collection.
Look! It's one of those action figures the Chadbot wants. There's a master model. Let's get it for the Chadbot. Hey, there's one of the things we're looking for. That's a master model. Let's grab it. Ooh, it's all sparkly. Let's collect the set.
Look, it's one of those master models that Chadbot wants. There's a master model. Let's get it for the Chadbot. Hey, there's one of the things we're looking for. A master model. Wow, it's beautiful. That's another model for the collection, right there.
Look, it's one of those master models the Chadbot wants. There's a master model. Let's get it for the Chadbot. Hey, there's one of the things we're looking for. That's another master model for the collection. Let's get that master model.
Look, it's one of those action figures the Chadbot wants. There's a master model. Let's get it for the Chadbot. Hey, there's one of those things we're looking for. Master models are exciting. If only we knew what they meant. The master model is speaking to my brain, but my brain's not talking to me.
Look, it's one of those things the Chadbot wants. There's a master model. Let's get it for the Chadbot. Hey, there's one of the things we're looking for. A master model. It's like magic, but highly collectible. Collectible object right there for the taking.
Look, it's one of those action figures the Chadbot wants. There's a master model. Let's get it for the Chadbot. Hey, there's one of the things we're looking for. Master model, right there. It's a master model. If we collect them all, do we get a prize? Look, it's one of the master models the Chadbot wants. There's a master model. Let's get it for the Chadbot. Hey, there's one of the things we're looking for. Master model in range. Prepare to acquire. Master model ahead. Gotta collect it.
I think they may have been removed since each character essentially says the same freaking thing. But I'm not really sure about that, as repeating lines is something that the whole series suffers from. Don't get me started on the destroying public property line from Glob's Badoom. Every character says that like 5 bajillion times. Now the last set of unused lines are hands down the most interesting of all of these, as they are basically reactions of the character you're playing as to the unlockable character in the scan pod. Again, in the final game, the characters are silent when in these rooms.
It's a robot, but it's in one of the capture pods. We better get him out of there. Wow, it's a girl robot. She's cute. Let's save her. Is that a hero, or did a cat fall asleep in one of these pods?
Marsupial. Recover! Ooh, robot! Recover! Yay! Cat. Meow. Recover the kitty. Woof.
It's a robot, but it's in one of the capture pods. We'd better get him out of there. A girl robot? What a strange idea. But she may be able to help us. We have to save that other dimensional marsupial. Is that a hero? Or did a cat fall asleep in one of those pods?
Hey, who's that in that pod? Ooh, a girl robot! She needs rescuing! Hey, there's a thing with a really big tail in that pod! And a cool shirt. Look, it's I have no idea.
Hey, who's that in the pod? Looks like a tiny robot. What do you know? A nice-looking robot girl. She might help us. Hello, it's a big cat. Hello, kitty. Who's a big drooling kitty?
Hey, who's that in that pod? Looks like a tiny robot. Look, in that pod, a girl robot. Let's save her. Hey, there's a dog with a really big tail in that pod. Oh no, it's a kitty. A really big kitty.
Aw, poor little robot guy. He's as cute as a button. Let's set him free. That is one cool robot. She has to be a hero, and we have to save her. Let's save that poor Hawaiian-shirted marsupial. From his dress sense. That kitty's so cute. And large and drooling. Okay, ew.
Hey, that's a little robot in there. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, this robot is quite the looker. We should rescue this fair damsel. It's a puppy. A really weird puppy. Oh, can we keep him? Can we keep him, please?
Look, it's a little metal man in a pod. Shall we rescue him? Ooh, a cute metal girl. Please let her be a powerful juju, or at least a cute metal girl. Now that guy must be a hero. Look at that shirt! And the tail? Also no glowing red eyes. It's a ferocious giant cat! A drooling, comatose... Okay, it's a cat. In a pod.
Cool, a little robot. Let's get him out of there. A girl robot? Who'd create such a thing? But she's probably a hero. Let's save that poor Hawaiian-shirted marsupial from his dress sense. Hey, it's a big kitty! Well, if we run into any mice, I bet he'll be a big help. Another robot. Not a design I'm familiar with. Looks like alien technology. What kind of life form is this? His shirt is nice, though. We should rescue him. Aw, it's so cute. In a kind of gross way. Can we keep him?
As a side note, I'm sad these were removed, because most of these lines are pretty funny. And that about wraps up all I could find about the Nicktoons Unite series. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know, but I think I did a pretty thorough job. I've wanted to make this video for almost a year, and I'm glad to finally see it happen. As to whether I will do this again, I'm not sure. Depends on whether the feedback I get from this is good. So let me know if you like this. If there's a game or game series you want to see me do with this, feel free to let me know. Won't guarantee anything, but hey, you never know. Don't know how else to end this video other than the fact that even the cutting room floor calls this game tedious.